Hello and welcome to Quick Start to Coding with Swift. Please may I introduce my co-host, Matt. Matt Hanlon is a long-time software developer, coach, teacher and dad in Ireland.
Thanks, Steve. And may I introduce Steve Bunce, an author, teacher, associate lecturer, and dad in the northeast of England.
Thanks, Matt. We have an exciting session for you all today. Today we're learning about algorithms, where you follow a series of instructions precisely to try and solve a problem. We're going to learn using Swift Playgrounds and our character Byte. We're going to use commands such as moveForward and turnLeft to try and solve our problem. So we're both excited. Let's get started. Hello, welcome to our unplugged part of the session. We call this unplugged because we're not going to use any technology in this part. What we're actually going to use is paper. So what you'll need is we're going to take a piece of paper and we're going to cut this into a square. Okay, so get your piece of paper and you can cut it into a square. To do that, what you can do is you can fold the page over all the way up to the side until it's nice and square, and when that reaches the side you can flatten that out. Okay, and when you have done that, when you fold that over like that, you can cut across here knowing that that's a square. Okay, so we can say let's get rid of that bit. You could use a paper cutter or you could use scissors. The idea being is we want a nice neat square to start with. Okay, so with our piece of paper we're going to cut off this piece, so we've got just a square left. Okay, so here I have my square which I'm going to use today. But what are we going to use it for? Well, today we're thinking about algorithms and about the steps you would take to do something, and following instructions is really important. So what we're going to make is one of these. This is a little paper dancer, and you can see arms up, arms down, both arms down, one leg up and two legs up. Okay, so it's a way of making a little animated character by drawing on the pages. We've folded the pages, and the character I've got on here is actually Byte, and we're going to be meeting Byte soon in the Swift Playgrounds. Okay, so here's Byte, arms up, arms down, arm up, down, arm down. We're going to make one like that, okay? So let's have a look. I shall put you over there, Byte. Here is our piece of paper. So what we're going to do to start with is we're going to fold it from corner to corner. So fold it from corner to corner. Okay. And get that out as neatly as you can. Okay. And I'm going to open it up and fold it from corner to corner again. Okay, so from corner to corner and from corner to corner. And what you'll see is later on, this helps us when we're trying to make those other folds. Okay, so we shall now open it out. Once it is opened out, we're now going to fold it in half the other way now. So we have two corners together. So can you hear I'm telling you some instructions, and if you follow those instructions carefully, then we'll be able to follow this algorithm and we'll be able to make the shape we want. So there is us folding in half. Again, I'm going to open it out. Okay, I'm now going to fold the side in to the middle, and I'm then going to turn it around and do the same again. So turn it around, fold the side in to the middle. There we go. So we've done quite a few folds so far, haven't we? And remember, the more accurately you can do it and the more precise, the better. Lovely. Now we can turn it 90 degrees and we're going to fold it in half again. So let's fold this in half, getting those corners together and creasing it out. Right, now open it up, and again we're going to get the edges. So can you see we're repeating some instructions here? We're doing those again. We're folding this side into the middle, and we'll do that again from the other side. So what we've done is we've taken our square and we now have a smaller square. There. Okay. So this is the difficult step. I think this is the most tricky step that we have. What we do is we grab the corner. So if you can see just inside, there's the corner of the original piece of paper. I'm going to grab that with my fingers and pull it sideways. And hopefully you can see how the paper folds out, and then you can squash that down like that. Okay, tricky step. We're going to repeat that now on the other side. So again, grab the corner of the piece of paper, pull it sideways, and then I'm just going to flatten that down there. And that's where our first steps of folding the paper from corner to corner just helps with those creases. Alright, we've got a little house with a roof on. And we're going to repeat that on the other side here. So here we're going to grab the corner, pull it out so those points meet, and then squash it down. And last one, grab the corner, pick it up, pull it out, and squash it down. Brilliant. Okay, so we now have this large hexagon, and on here we're going to start drawing our picture. Now I drew a picture of our character Byte, and this took me quite a while to draw this shape and colour it in, and you can certainly do that. Maybe after this session you can spend some more time and you can draw a picture. But let's keep it simple for this one. I'm going to have a very simple dancer. It could be, let's see, just a circle for a head will do today. Or an oval really, isn't it? There's an oval. A rectangle for the body. Okay. And back up there. And then for the arms and legs, I'm going to keep it really simple. So I'm going to draw a line up for one arm and just an oval on the end for the hand. And again from this shoulder, a line up from this side and an oval on the hand there. Oval hand there. And for the legs, let's just do straight down again, and we do a large oval for some pointy toes there. And same here, straight down and a large oval there. Alright, now there we are, pretty simple. Now hang on, let's put on some eyes. Some eyes there, and a nose, and a big smiling face. That's better. Okay, there is our dancer ready to go. So next we need to have a look and see how we can fold the page and make it different. So I'm going to pick up this side, this leg, and I'm going to fold it over sideways like that. Now what I can do is I can complete the body again and put a leg going, this time out to the side, whoop, and draw our foot on the end there. And on this side again I can do the same. I can pick up this leg, fold it over, and let's finish off the body again and draw a leg out to the side there, and our foot. There we go. So far we can have legs going from down and legs going out to the side like that. Let's repeat that now for the arms. So with the arms, I can pull this arm down over here, and you can see I need to complete my head again. Put on an eye, finish the nose. You can spend some more time later maybe redoing this and making a really nice one. There's our hand coming up to the side. And the last one, pull this one down there. To pull this down, and there is our last part. Let's finish off the head again. Put on an eye, put on a nose, and finish that smile. Okay, Lovely. So there is our character, and there is our last arm. Ooh, coming over here. There we go. So, very simply, here is our dancer with arms up, legs down. Here is our dancer with one leg up, two legs up, two arms up, and then finally we can put the arms down like that. So we've made a paper dancer. You've followed some instructions to make this into an algorithm, and those algorithms, the instructions, if you follow them precisely, then you'll get some sort of dancer like this. You'll follow this and you'll make a dancer with this different shape. But don't forget, you can make your own ones. You can make one like Byte, and you could use sort of colours and whatever shape you want, or choose your favourite video game character or your favourite pop star. Whoever it is that you want to use, you can choose. Okay? So follow those instructions and just see what happens. See if you can make your own paper dancer.
Thanks, Steve. That was excellent. A really good example of following a simple set of instructions to make something pretty cool. I really love that exercise. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move over to the coding portion, and we're going to work on our iPads now. So for this week, this whole
All right, we should be back. Sorry, we had a little hiccup. And we're back to coding. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up Learn to Code 1 now. And Learn to Code 1 is all about getting us situated with Swift as a programming language and learning a little bit about coding. So we're going to start off with commands, which are the basic building block of programming. And we can liken commands to a recipe or maybe a set of instructions, like building a drone or building an origami paper dancer, like we did with Steve just a second ago. We can also liken it to following directions. The iPad, when we write our Swift, it has to have the commands in a very specific order. Otherwise, we might get unintended results. When we're trying to solve our problem, whether it's building an origami paper dancer or it's baking a cake, we have to follow those steps generally in the right order and specifically. We don't want to add too much sugar, or maybe we do. But we want to make sure that we follow the directions that someone's written down so that we come out with the right result. Same thing with programming. So when we write code, we're writing down our own set of instructions for the iPad to follow. So our commands that we're going to use in this first couple of playgrounds are going to be things like move forward, and that's going to get Byte to move forward a step. Collect gem, that's going to allow Byte to collect the gem. And you notice that they kind of look a little bit funny on the screen. They look like they've been kind of mashed together. That's just what we call the syntax of coding. And it's a very specific thing that we have to learn when we're doing things like programming in Swift or any other language. We tend to get rid of the spaces, and we make the next word, the first letter of it, capitalized. So we have collect gem with a capital G, and then we have these parentheses at the end here that we'll find out a bit more about tomorrow. So with that basic primer of what commands are, let's start coding. Let's take a look at our environment here. So when we're coding, this is our workshop in Swift Playgrounds. We've got this whole screen over here. This is typically our coding area. And in fact, you see a prompt to tap to enter code. We have our area over here. This is where Byte lives, and this is where we're going to solve our puzzles. We usually, in the Learn to Code series, have some instructions up here at the top that we can follow. We have a hint button over here. If we get stuck, we can go take a look at the hints. We can run our code, because once we type it in, it's not just going to automatically run for us. We have to tell Byte to actually process those commands and try walking through them. We have some other stuff up here. We can turn on and off the sound. And then we have some other elements that we'll take a look at in a second. But first, let's try writing our very first command. So I've tapped in here in the code area, and you can see at the bottom of the screen, down here, I have two commands pop up, collect gem and move forward. Well, let's try using move forward first. So we'll tap on move forward, and it inserts it into my coding area. And now if I hit run my code, we'll see Byte head off, and he moves forward 1. Okay, so now we know how that command behaves. This is a great way to feel out a new programming environment, is to see what commands are available to you and just try them out. Now, if I need to inspect this a little bit better, because I need to figure out how I'm going to solve this puzzle, I can tap on the screen here and move Byte around. I can pinch to zoom and pinch to zoom out. So when we're coding, it's a lot like trying to figure out how we're going to build something. So we need to step back and say, well, from here, because Byte always resets to this arrow, how am I going to collect this gem? Well, I need to move forward, move forward, move forward again, and then collect gem. Let's try that out. So if the commands don't come up in the autocomplete bar and you're impatient waiting for it, you can tap on this caret down here, and it'll bring up the keyboard, and you can start typing in your command. So I'm going to start typing in move, and as I type, you can see that move forward shows up in the autocomplete bar. Now, before I'm done typing, I haven't finished typing up move forward, you'll notice that there's a red dot. So this is just Swift telling you that it hasn't got enough information, or it's got maybe the wrong information, and it's not able to run these commands. This is helpful because then we can do something about it. And if I take a look at that red dot, I can tap on the red dot, and it'll give me an error message. Now, it might look a little bit cryptic, a little bit daunting, use of unresolved identifier move. I'm not sure what that means, maybe. So it's just a way of the Swift telling you that it doesn't know anything about this command. You could tell it to, the same way if you didn't know how to tie your shoes and I said, hey, tie your shoes, you might look at me and say, I don't know how to do that. Same thing. We've told Swift something it doesn't know how to do. So if I tap on the move forward autocomplete, it'll actually finish off that command for me. I can do it again because we said we'd move forward 3 times. And then I'll collect gem at the end. So let's try that out. We're going to hit run my code and see how that works out for Byte. Off he goes. He moves forward once, twice, 3 times. Perfect. We've written our first successful program in Swift. And in fact, it lets us know. Now, the other thing I really like about Swift Playgrounds is it'll give you these highlighted blue words, and you can tap on them to see the definition for commands, for example, or Swift over here. So now that we've completed that page, let's tap on the next page link to get to the next page. All right, so the goal for this page, we have at the top, it says combine move and turn commands to collect the gem. We have a new command available to us. So someone has written the command turnLeft. So now we're able to solve this puzzle, because if we only had move forward and collect gem, we wouldn't be able to solve this puzzle, would we? So let's tap over here again to enter our code. Now if we walk it out, we might need to move forward, move forward. Looks like we need to turn left there. It looks like there's something in our way. So we'll move forward twice. We'll turn left. Let's see how that behaves. Let's see how that performs for us. So let's hit the run my code. Up the stairs we go. Okay, so stairs don't count as an extra move. That's good to know. Maybe that would have been a thing we had to worry about. And we've turned left. Now, after we ran the code and we hadn't solved the puzzle, this little hint button popped up a little bit. So if we tap on the hint button, we can see that they've given us more information about how. That's good to know. Maybe that would have been a thing we had to worry about. So To reach the gem, Byte needs to move forward 2 tiles, then turn left, then move forward 2 more tiles. They've kind of spelled it out for us. We see these 3 dots at the bottom of the hints. We can also swipe through and read more about the move forward command. And then at the very end, they show us the solution. Now that's no fun. We won't skip right to the solution. So we'll X out of that. Another nice feature of Swift Playgrounds, if you're walking through your code and trying to solve the puzzle, you can find out where you're running certain commands. So let's add a few more. Let's move forward, and then move forward again. And let's run our code, and let's try collecting the gem at the end of that. So we'll run our code. Off Byte goes up the steps, turns left, goes forward, goes forward, goes forward. Oh, right, we have a bug in our code here. So Swift Playgrounds makes it kind of easy for you to spot these bugs. So we can actually go over here to this little speedometer icon. If we tap on that, we see a bunch of different options here. We can run fastest, faster, or we can choose one of these two. Step through my code or step slowly through my code. I'm going to pick step through my code and watch what happens over here on the left-hand side of my commands. You see that as I run each command, a little caret shows up, and the ones that I've run have a dot next to them. So this lets me spot, while I'm watching the two, while I'm looking back and forth between this view over here and my code, I can spot where we might have gone wrong. So I saw that we actually moved forward one too many times. So I'm going to tap on move forward, and you can see that it highlights the whole word. And it gives you this menu where I can select delete. So I'll do that. I'll get rid of that. I could have also used this delete key down here. And let's change it back to run my code. So I'll tap on the speedometer, hit run my code, and off Byte goes. We turn left, we move forward again, and we collect the gem. Great, we've solved our second puzzle. Now we've got one more to go for today, because this is a lot. Working through these puzzles might take a long time. I encourage you to take your time over these and try to figure out different ways of solving the puzzle. We're going to go on to the next page. Another way you can get to the next page is by tapping on this arrow here. And while we're up here, you can also see that there's the title of the page that we're on. So we're on toggling a switch. If I tap on that, I can see all the pages in my Swift Playground. And you can see there's a lot to learn, a lot to walk through. Now we'll cover some of this stuff, but there's a lot more for you to play with all on your own. There's plenty of instructions in here that you can follow through. And it's great to try this out with a friend, to try programming the same time, maybe take turns through the different puzzles. So we're on toggling a switch. I'm going to tap back on the editor here. Now, this introduces yet another command, toggle switch. So switches may be open or closed. If we toggle a switch and it's open, it's going to be closed. If we toggle the switch and it's closed, it's going to be open. So it sounds simple enough. So what we have to do here is we need to collect the gem and then go toggle the switch on. Let's give it a shot. Let's start writing some code. You can see in my autocomplete bar, it helps me out because it gives me the 4 commands that I have available to me. So let's see, we're going to move forward again. Now you can do this one of 2 ways. If you're like me, I like to move the puzzle around to keep track of where Byte is. Sometimes you might need to get up out of your chair. These puzzles where we have the choice to move forward or to turn left or to turn right, as we'll see further down the line as we've got a question about it. It's helpful to get up out of your chair and actually kind of walk it out around the classroom. All right, so we've moved forward twice. Byte's there, facing this way. If we turn the puzzle, now we need to turn left. So we'll turn left. We'll move forward once. That should put us about there. So we'll collect the gem there. Now we're going to move forward again. So we'll tap move forward. And then we're going to turn left again. So I'm going to try to be a little bit fancy. I'm going to hit the keyboard. And I'm going to start typing turn. And I'm going to hit return. And then where are we going to go? Then we're going to move forward twice. And then I believe we should be on the switch at this stage. So we'll just toggle the switch. Now, if I go to hit run my code, I'm going to have a small problem. So that red dot that I tapped on before to highlight this message tells me I have a use of an unresolved identifier turn, which is a very fancy way of saying I don't know what you're talking about when you tell me to turn. You remember we have turn left. So if I start typing, I say, all right, look, I'm not going to use autocomplete. I'm going to be really fancy. I'm going to type in turn left. And I got the parentheses because I need that at the end of my commands when I call my command. I just tapped on the J key and dragged down to the right. But it's still giving me an error. Saying use of unresolved identifier turn left. Swift is very particular about the case that you use. So I need to use a capital letter L for turn left in there. It doesn't understand the lowercase l. That's a totally different command in its eyes, which is confusing to us, who can read through uppercase and lowercase with no problem. But Swift isn't as smart as us in that respect. So if I get really stuck, if I'm completely stuck at this stage and I'm like, I can't figure out how to fix this, I've tried deleting stuff, I have just a giant mess, Swift Playgrounds offers you an easy way out. We can always go up to these three dots here. We can go down to this reset page option and just hit reset. It'll take away all the mess that we've created. It'll reset it back to its original state. And we could try solving the puzzle again from scratch. Sometimes that's how coding goes. You have to start from scratch to make sure you've made the right solution. So let's try walking through that. Move forward. We're moving forward and collecting the gem. At this stage, I might test it out to make sure that I've gotten that far. So let's try that. We're going to actually run faster, see how fast Byte can go. Off he goes, down, turns left, and collects the gem. Excellent. Now all we have to do from there is add on to the end of our code, move forward. We're there. We're going to turn left. We're going to go up 1, 2, and then we'll toggle the switch. Let's run it. I'm actually going to change it back to run at normal speed. There we go, off. We've moved forward twice. We've turned left, collected the gem, move forward again, turned left, move forward, and we did it. All right, we managed to complete 3 pages today, which is huge for our first day coding. There's a lot to learn and a lot to cover over the next couple days, but this is an excellent start on our coding journey.
Fantastic, Matt. It's wonderful how you can control Byte to go around the screen.
It's excellent. And we had some good questions about that. We had this one from class 7. Could Byte fall off the edge? I don't want to ruin the surprise. That's something you can try. That's the beauty of programming is you can always try this stuff. Swift Playgrounds is such a safe environment. You're not going to ruin anything by trying to have Byte go off the edge. Why not try it out? Try it out, and if you get it messed up so badly you can't get out of it, just use that reset page trick to get out of the mess you've created, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah, that's a great tip of resetting the page and starting again. There's times when I've been coding and I've just got in a bit of a mess, and you just feel you could just wish you could start again, and then try it, and it makes it so quick to reset the page, and away you go.
Without a doubt. I wish we had more of that for professional programmers on a day-to-day basis. I would love to reset a lot of my own code that I've written over the years.
And then we had another question about, can Byte turn right?
That's a good one. That is a good one. And you know what? We are actually not going to get to it this week. If you do continue on, we're going to talk about functions tomorrow, and we'll be able to define our own function. So where we don't have functions for bytes to do things, we can write our own. We can say, do you know what? We'll use the available tools we have, like the turnLeft command, moveForward, collect gem, toggle switch. We can use those to build other more complex commands. So we could write our own turn right function.
Right. Oh, and another question come in. How many commands can you use?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, ideally, you'd like to use as few commands as possible. There's a little secret about programmers. We're actually very lazy, and we'd like to use as few commands as possible because it means less code for us to go read through later. But you could use as many as you want. You could make an incredibly complex program. Even in Swift Playgrounds, you could write hundreds and hundreds of lines. So long as you have the code there to do it and the commands to run, you can write as many as you like.
Brilliant. So we've looked today at algorithms, and we've looked at the following the numbers of steps, and we've made our paper ballet dancers, and we followed the steps to do those. And the more precisely you follow those steps, the more accurate and more precise is your model that you've made. So feel free to try again, and there's a lot of benefit in practicing it again and again. And there's a load to learn from actually teaching other people. So maybe when you go home tonight, or when you, and Matt and I certainly do too.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
And just to bring it all back together, maybe today you're going to travel somewhere, you're going to go from one place to another, just like Byte did, and you'll follow a number of steps, whether that's following steps around the school to get from one classroom to another, whether it's following from school to home, or whether it's actually going on another journey. So things like Apple Maps have a route finder, and you can put in a route from one place to another, and it'll make those little steps for you. And if you follow those steps, you'll get to where you need to go.
And if you use any of these tips that we've given you today, any of the tips for thinking about how you're giving instructions in the real world, whether you've made a paper origami dancer, if you've had any interesting coding thoughts, be sure to use the hashtags above. We've got hashtag everyone can code, hashtag Swift Playgrounds. If you've done some really interesting stuff with Byte, maybe you've tried to make Byte fall off the edge, or use the hashtag Code Week to make sure that they know that you're participating in this big thing. We're part of a much bigger whole here with this session. It's EU Code Week. We're trying to get a lot of people coding across Europe just to understand how important this is to our future. This is big. You, as the brand new coders, are going to be the ones who are able to write the buses that can autopilot themselves around the city. And then if you're trapped on one of those autopiloted buses yourself, then you can recode it and make sure it gets to the destination in the right way.
Mm-hmm. So today we've looked at algorithms. We're back tomorrow at the same time at 9:45 when we'll be looking at functions tomorrow.
Yeah,
and we'll also be looking at dances and what we can do with dances. So hopefully you'll be warmed up and ready tomorrow morning. And also, if you're watching this later in the day, feel free to share this with your friends and colleagues and say they can watch the live stream recorded at a more convenient time, maybe. And these will be here all week, and we can certainly learn together as we learn to code.
Yep, this has been a lot of fun, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye-bye.